Warning, this episode may contain some language that sensitive viewers may find slightly offensive. Viewer discretion is advised. Two men with thought-provoking intellect, a rousing discussion with a hint of humor. He says this, I say that, with a host that...
Bruh, it's a podcast.
Hi, I would like to welcome you all to our latest episode of Bruh, It's a Podcast. I'm your host, Courtney. We got our two bruh casters, Q&E, with us. How are y'all doing today?
A broadcaster? That's a
What
word?
the hell? This guy, man.
Yeah, that's
right.
It's what I was going to call our special guest, so I thought I would try it out on you guys first.
Yeah, hopefully he likes it because we don't.
Yeah, man. Nobody wants to be a broadcaster.
That didn't work. All right, so I wanted to ask you guys, how was your Father's Day?
Well, I'm actually not a father, but I did take time to celebrate it with my dad. But also, it's my nephew's birthday, so we really spent it, celebrating him. He's a little kid. He just turned 7. I don't really think he thinks Father's Day trumps his birthday. That's his priority. So as a family, we surrounded him.
Let's see. I don't have a relationship with my father. I haven't spoke to him since I was 17. No, that's not true. He called a year ago asking about a loan to start a pig farm. So I don't have a father. And then I don't have any kids. And then my grandmother passed away 3 years ago on Father's Day. So that's how my Father's Day is every year.
So no disrespect, but this went really sad really quick.
Yeah, no, this
I don't think this is where Courtney was heading.
It's not.
I don't think Courtney was heading.
I asked about Father's Day, and then we went into pig farms. There was a little bit of death, and I probably shouldn't have asked that question now.
Well, then if that's the case, I'm sorry. My
I'm sorry, y'all. But see, here's the thing, Courtney knows how I feel about Father's Day.
And he still
He
asks
knows.
He still asks the question.
And he fully knows.
So he's a jerk.
Yes, because he knew what I was going to say.
You know what?
Well,
I apologize. No. I apologize. I'm sorry, Q, that you have to be brought this and he has to continue to pick scabs at you. What a jerk.
It was me?
Yeah, it's you. Why don't you just ask him, what do you do this weekend?
So, Q, what are your thoughts on kids then, about having a son? Like, tell me what you think.
That's where we're going now.
Yeah. Wow. Let me hear it.
Are you kidding right now, bro?
Just tell me about your thoughts about having a son.
Are we doing this on the show?
Yeah, I'm just asking a question. The people want to know.
The people want to know how Q feels about children?
I literally just heard it from the people. It's crazy how it works.
What you heard was not the people.
All right. Courtney's dirty, bro.
Nah. But you told me about a specific plan you had. I just want to hear about it.
I don't recall a plan or telling you about a plan I had.
There was nothing that you told me that remotely resembled the Lion King?
You're so wrong for that, bruh. I'm fine. I told him that when I had a son, I was going to, go outside naked. He was going to be naked, and I was going to lift him in the air and yell out his name. The problem is, Courtney's so young, he doesn't realize that that's from Roots. So he attributes it to the Lion King. This is our millennials at play. Do you see that, E?
I mean, it probably is from Roots, but when when the monkey did it, God. We all felt it.
God.
It hit a little different, didn't it?
It hit a little different.
Y'all need to watch Roots. See, this is the problem. It's Courtney E. He's always trying to impress you, and it makes me sick. He tries to impress me, too, but it doesn't work on me.
He's not trying to impress me. I'm just saying, make sure
when
you go do it on your balcony, you lift up your son, make sure you got the circle of life playing in the background.
We're not going to say anything about the fact that you think me impressing E would be a visual of you running outside naked, holding up your naked son and screaming his name to the skies. That's what's going to do it?
No, what I'm saying is you're always trying to impress me. The other day, E, I asked him how old was he when he lost his virginity, and he said 10.
That's not true.
And you know what? E? It would have been impressive if I didn't know for a fact that he was homeschooled. So it wasn't impressive.
Where are we going with these conversations?
Yeah, we got to move on.
We went from Quash Jr. to Courtney's virginity.
That's too large of a jump for me. We may have made a mistake. Before we get to our special guest and we introduce him, the women have answered. They said, check your Instagram. They hit our comments and they didn't really say that they apologized, but they did say that they apologized. But the overall theme was that they're actually usually always right, so they don't need to apologize. But
of course.
they attacked our comments and they said that we were wrong for saying that.
Once again, the males are wrong.
Telling me.
Basically, once again, they put it on Instagram. Or, you know what? This is just another episode of how the men aren't paying attention, right? I gave you subtle signs. I gave you just weren't paying any attention. On Instagram. Had you been open your eyes, maybe you would have saw what I was speaking to you. Ladies, we're sorry.
Oh, come on. That's right. I'm not sorry. Tired of them perpetuating the stereotype that we always wrong. We ain't wrong. But you know what? My brother always tells me women aren't going to let something like common sense mess up an argument. I said it.
I did not say it. I'm all about feminism.
Oh, my goodness.
What comments did they say?
I do have one because I do want to get to the next part. I'm just going to give you an example of one. I mean, I thought this was a lie, but I'll read it. Nah, I've apologized. Even when it was years later that I realized I had to apologize, I still apologized. After all those years, LOL.
So let me get this straight. You apologize 6 years later? Nah, sis, I'm not rolling with you.
It took years for her to realize she should apologize.
Not that she was
That
wrong.
should tell you something.
Not that she was wrong, but it just took her years to gear up the strength to say, I'm sorry.
How crazy is that, man? Courtney, man, what is that?
It's not the best.
It's Courtney's girlfriend. He stayed up for it's not the best. Get out of here.
I was scared. That's what it was.
Sounded a little fearful, bruh.
No, man. These were all the female comments. That was just the one that jumped out to me because I was like, this doesn't seem right.
So nobody apologizes? That's what everybody makes up. You're supposed to compromise to the couple. If I'm standing my ground and you're standing your ground, we ain't going nowhere.
All we do is apologize, man. It's tired. It's tired.
All right. So what we got to do now is we got to just wait. We got our special guest, Josh Johnson, coming in. We're going to give him a proper introduction, but we just got to wait for him to call in. Somebody has air conditioner on?
No.
Yo, if E got 5 extra minutes, I should get 5 extra minutes, bro.
No, don't get mad at me. I know the game.
Yo, I'm in here cooking, bro.
Yeah, I know you smell like bacon.
So let's start figuring out our improvise if he doesn't show.
I was thinking that, like, what would we do if he just didn't show, and like how we would like just be like, all right, so we're supposed to have a guest. We're just gonna pretend to either be that guest. All right, so I think Josh is here. I'm gonna let him in. All right, Josh, can you hear me?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
What up, Josh?
Not much, man. How's everything been going?
Doing well. You said they wanted to be all professional. I'm sorry, bro.
No.
Yeah.
All good. I feel like with the introduction of the pandemic, professionalism is like out of the window.
That's cool. I knew you were my guy.
You know,
That's what I'm talking about, man.
like honestly, it's like I think the only people that are really killing it professionally right now is in like those kids that were hall monitor growing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People who just like love rules. Like they're like, I have to have dress socks on. It's a work day. You know?
Yeah, man. I know exactly what you're talking about. We talked about the Zoom meetings, how you have business on top and party on the bottom.
Yeah, 100%. And if you're not doing that, you're not taking full advantage of your life. You know?
I agree with you.
Like I definitely, obviously, I don't want to get sick from Corona or anything. But if I did, and I never once had like a pantsless interview where no one could see that I wasn't wearing. But yeah, I mean, just like for me, just to roll out of bed and go straight to an interview, then I never really fully lived.
Yeah, you didn't live Corona to the fullest.
Yeah. I mean, you have to take full advantage where you can. Because honestly, if you could, I mean, this is going to change work forever. Like, I've definitely been in a space where I've missed a lot of people, even the people who like annoy me. You know what I mean? Because you're on lockdown. You're by yourself, you know? There's even people who I worked with on previous jobs that I'm like, man, I wonder what they're up to. And I never thought about them at all before this thing started. You know what I mean?
I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there thinking about their exes because nothing's happening for them at home right now.
Yeah.
Just wondering what they're doing.
There's going to be a lot of comeuppance at the end of this. Like, when lockdown is completely and totally over everywhere, there's going to be a lot of like nudes that should have been sent. There's going to be a lot of hookups that should have happened. Like, people are mostly just like, you know, like talking shit to pass the time right now. But like, they're backing themselves into a corner. You know what I mean? Like,
No, you're right. And then once the pandemic is over, so it's been real.
Everything that you said while we were on lockdown. Was that true?
Yeah,
Or were you playing with my feelings? Or
I mean, death was around the corner, right?
I had a conversation with a friend where I was like, we've gone through such a shift since this thing started that I honestly think like when we started the whole coronavirus like insanity, that first month people were so scared and everyone believed the projections, and I mean, like people were really freaking out, and it was to the point where people really thought it was the end of the world, like this is it, this is the end, you know what I mean? And now you look back, we're 4 months from that point. So now everyone's obviously acting all chill, like they, weren't sweating it the whole time, everything. But there's some guy out there who prematurely ate a person. You know what I mean? Like he just thought, this is it. Like honestly, and there's not enough food for the both of us in this bunker. So I need to go ahead and eat him now, because if he's living, he's gonna eat half the food. You know what I mean? And I won't be able, I have to eat him at his strongest. That's when there's meat on the bone,
You're right.
So now
his strongest.
we're in May or June, right? We're in June. And this person gets arrested, I'm sure that their defense in court is going to be, guys, we can't judge each other for what we thought was going to happen when the world was ending. All right.
That's it.
I ate that dude when I didn't think there'd be any more police. Okay. You can't come pick me up now. Because if I would have known that all the grocery stores were staying open, obviously I wouldn't have eaten them. But we were in the bunker. We couldn't get the news.
To tell you the truth, I'm a vegetarian, right?
Yeah, like low key, I didn't even like it. I didn't even like it. All right. I mean, not to be rude, and maybe it's my cooking, maybe it's on me, but he was a little gamey. So like I really shouldn't be going to jail for this. How are you gonna go to jail when you had a bad meal? You know what I mean? Like, that dude is a 1-star Yelp review.
Yo, Josh, we got to get started. We're having a lot of good time. We need to start there.
Yo, I was getting ready to tell you, man, Courtney made me turn the air conditioner off because it was making too much noise in the microphone. And now I'm sweating like a pig because I can't stop laughing.
Dude, people don't realize when you're recording a podcast or something, you're still in the regular world. Like when this podcast comes out, it's going to just seem like a thing on my phone. But you're sweating over there. I had to turn my air conditioner off. I'm sweating over here. It's 89 outside.
Man.
We're in heat boxes. And so, but I get it. You don't want to sound like white noise.
Right.
You don't understand. This guy, Courtney, man, he's the worst. Anyway, go ahead and speak, Courtney. Let's get this party started.
All right. So, Josh, I'm just going to introduce you. I'm going to be real professional and introduce you the right way. We would like to welcome our special guest this week. He's a writer, stand-up comedian, and performer. He's from Louisiana. He's performed for Comedy Central, The Tonight Show, Conan, and he's a writer on The Daily Show. He'll be touring on the Loud and Clear tour with Trevor Noah later in the summer, and he has an album that you can check out now titled I Like You. Introducing Josh Johnson. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yo, what up, Josh?
Not much.
Yeah.
Just out here living, doing my best. That sounds so depressing. I'm sorry. I'm actually very blessed. Sometimes when people ask me how I'm doing, a part of me doesn't want to get into it. So I give this very mediocre answer, and then they think I'm actually not doing well.
But we get it. Real G's move in silence. You know what I mean? You don't want to get too much. I get you.
Okay, so first thing I wanted to ask you was what inspired you to begin doing comedy?
I think you're inspired to do anything when you're not very good at anything else. Like people think that comedy was the end all be all, which it is now, because honestly, it's the only thing that's proved lucrative. But I tried lots of things. I'm not that good at math. I really gave a shot at doing any other thing that I thought would make money besides this. And this is honestly I think the main thing is that it was the only way that I knew how to help people. I'm genuinely not, I don't have the constitution to see blood, so I could never be a doctor or anything. I literally just went through the list of ways to help people, and I was like, nah, not that. No, thank you. I'm not going to be good at that. You know what I mean? So then I landed on this, and I try to make people's days as good as possible and improve their day as much as I can, like either through perspective or like showing them how like silly something upsetting them is. You know what I mean? I think that's the thing that drew me to it, because from a young age, like I would definitely be, a bit down, or depressed isn't always the right word, but like, we grew up in like not the best conditions. You know what I mean? Like all my whole family had to pool their money together for me to go to a Montessori school and like have that different perspective and that different education and everything. And then like I got a scholarship, at a young age to attend this Catholic school. And so like I was always having these experiences of being, surrounded by people who were at least all right, like middle class up to affluent. And then I, was in a situation where, obviously we weren't the poorest of the poor or anything, but we struggled. And I think that comedy was the main way that I found like both an outlet for myself and a way to make people, that I came across happy.
Nice.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. It shows you got a big heart. I would have to ask you, who was the most memorable person that you worked with?
I think I imagine I'm still making memories there. Ever since I started working with Trevor Noah, has been like life changing. Like his outlook, his perspective, his approach to comedy, and his approach to how he creates is something that's definitely influenced me heavily. Like I'd say that in these last 2 years, I've learned more about comedy than doing it the first 5. And so it's been insane. It's like not just because the tour is big or because he's like a star or something. It's like his genuine love for jokes and like how, he puts structure together for jokes. Because, comedy is a lot like music, where when you see people joking, people just think that's who that person is. You know what I mean? Like they just think like, oh, he's just talking. It's actually one of the main reasons that a lot of Black comedians don't win awards. Because I think that a lot of people see Black comics as like personality and charm and charisma, and then white comics as writers. And so it's a thing that happens throughout entertainment. And it's starting to change a bit, because now there are people who are just so undeniable. How can they not get the Grammy, the whatever? So you see Chappelle get his Grammy, and I'm sure that there's only more awards to come and stuff. And so barriers are being broken in that way. I'm not saying it to be like a big down or anything. It's just something that's happened throughout Hollywood history.
Did we lose him? Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Josh, you here?
Yeah. Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I put some more quarters in my route. I feel like this is also the point in the interview where you're going to end up having to be like, this is where Josh lost all credibility. Realize he couldn't afford Wi-Fi. He'd been stealing the Wi-Fi from the local Chinese restaurant.
We're going to blame Corona, bro. It's not you.
Yeah, man.
I'd like to not blame myself, but the fact that this is also like a new computer. I have a new computer and the TV turned on for no reason. So I don't believe in ghosts, but like, what other explanation is there when the Wi-Fi is both not working and turning things on?
Yeah, man. Just pick up where you left off from.
That whole thing is changing. So those accolades are coming. I'm not even so much worried about that. I think there's just a general perspective that the regular public has. It's almost like music. Like when you listen to music and you love a song, you're loving the hook and the lyrics and the melody and all these components that go into it that you weren't really privy to. You just know you enjoy the song. Stand-up works the same way. It's like someone had to lay out a structure and what themes they wanted to introduce. So when you love a person's special or their album, you're loving actually a lot of work and the work that it took to like make that thing possible.
All right. It's dropped again. All right, I'm just going to reset this. Hey, Josh?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. So those guys are joining on because I sent them a new link. Now it seems like we're the frauds. Now you've seen us at our truest form.
No, I'm honestly so conflicted because it's like, on the one half, this is all very funny. But on the other, it's like, there's a part of me, it's like, ooh, we can't let them see us like this.
I know it's true. It is a dilemma when it comes to like editing, but like our audience seems to like it. So we're probably just going to leave it in. They asked some pretty serious questions. My question is a little bit, actually, it's not even a question. I need some advice. I got a new phone, a couple years back. And, when you get that phone and it's replacing the person that had it before, now I'm in every group chat that this person used to be in. And it seems like they just won't stop texting me. So I need your advice on how to get out.
I honestly think the only thing left to do, text, like, are you getting these as text chain tech?
Yeah, it's like when you first change your number, you know how, you get the usual text from like, oh, this is a new phone number. This is no longer Fred. I'm not this guy anymore.
Yeah.
That's all happened But what has ended up happening anyway is that the whole family has just not cared, and they've just decided to include me in their life for the past 7 years. So Fred, whose number I've actually already replaced, he's actually still in these group threads as well, conversing with me as if it's okay that I'm in his family now.
I mean, okay, so do you not like the family? You really want out of this? Because it sounds amazing.
Yeah, honestly, their family does seem a lot more festive than my family. Like, it seems like when they have birthdays, they really celebrate and like exchange gifts and cake and stuff, rather than my family, where I might just get a cake and then no one talks to me for the rest of the day, and like the cake's not even what I like. So I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, I think, let's say it comes down to it, you really want to get out of this thing. One, you can really start to try to lead the conversation. You know what I mean? Like, you can be the one hitting them up to be like, guys, what is this rash? You know what I mean? Like, just what's wrong? Is this pus or what's coming out of my leg? You know what I mean? Like make them want to drop you. The other thing that you can probably do, they sound caring though, so this may not work. You can just go ahead and send a text to the whole group that's like, this nigga has died. All right. He passed on. It's actually disrespectful to continue texting him. Now, if they are as caring as you're laying out them to be, I think they're just going to try to send condolences. They're going to want to know where to send flowers. Like, you're a member of their family now.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I tried something similar. I mean, I didn't go the whole death route, but I did say that, look, Fred moved away. He's not here anymore. Stop texting. And then in another group chat, he popped up and was like, no, actually, I'm still here. And then they just proceeded to continue texting with me in the new group chat with the person who I was supposed to have replaced.
Yeah, I think that you set yourself up for a distraction there, because you know you can really only say what you're going to do. You don't know anything about Fred's life, you know? So it's like, if anything, they were probably so distracted by Fred being like, guys, no, I'm fine, that they were just relieved, so they just kept texting you, you know? Like I think they missed the point.
Yeah, I'm with Josh on this one, man. You need to go all in on the family. Like, hey, it's my birthday's coming up. Let's all meet up. Like, all in on the family. Become a part of the family. Like, hey, my birthday's coming up. You guys want to meet up?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, there's probably a will in there somewhere.
Yeah, that would be wild though. If they left you something in their will off the text chain, and then Fred is sitting there like, I'm your actual nephew though. But I got to know Courtney more, you know? Like, I got we built that connection over years of telling each other happy birthday.
I didn't think of the angle that I can get in the will. That's genius.
Honestly, sounds like a movie. Like, this could truly change your life. You know, because how many people are in the group?
Yeah, honestly, I've counted, just because this has affected my life so heavily, and not even exaggerating. There's about 19 people in this chain that I've been a part of, like, all combined.
So out of 19 people, one of them's got to have money.
That is a fact.
You're not thinking this through, Courtney. You can actually have a real party and a real birthday with this family, and then take pictures and send them to your family. Man, you got to get it right.
There you go. Yeah, you got to teach this guy everything.
We're curious about your journey. Honestly, you're so young. You've done so much, and like how everything has been, you know, through your experiences with stand-up so far.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm very grateful for the success I've had so far, but there is a part of me that's like, you know, trying to keep pushing, because there's nothing like not knowing you hit your stride. You know what I mean? Like I really hope I didn't peak early. I want to have some like Macaulay Culkin type happen where it's like I'm just trying to push forward, and I look at it with urgency, because you know, you never know how hot you're going to be for how long, and so I just try to make everyone laugh that I come across. And there's definitely a big future ahead, but I also just want to plan strategically and keep playing things smart, and so not get too. I mean, some people really bite off more they can chew very early, because you want to be that headliner, you want to be the guy, you want to be the person who is like getting everything, and that's fine. But even top Madison Square selling out garden acts know that they have an arc to their career. You know what I mean? And so the best thing you can possibly do is hope that the downswing isn't as low as when you started. I think as long as you're in it for the right reasons and you're paying close attention to where you want to go, you're going to be fine. And yeah, I think that to a certain degree, if we're comparing things, I think I have received a lot of success early on into starting stand-up. But like, if you do have that marathon mindset, you don't really look at it that way, because I know so many people who really didn't get anything going until they were about 10 years in, and then the things started trickling in, and then that was slow. I mean, it's the difference between like Bo Burnham and Bill Burr. It's like both have incredibly successful careers, and depending on what you want to do with comedy, depends on the track that you want to follow. But like Bill took a while, and it's not as if he was any less before people knew him. He spent years being hilarious and struggling and grinding, and then whereas Bo came from a very smart, very like opportunity filled track where he was on YouTube, and he was like, there wasn't even such a thing as being a YouTuber back then. Like he was just of his own skill and of his own talent was making those songs that were making people laugh, making people check him out, and then he started going on the road and stuff. And yeah, maybe it looks like he skipped a couple steps, but it just depends on what you want to do and where you want to be.
In regards to that, I definitely understand the importance of peaking at the right time, right? But do you have aspirations to be in movies? Is that something you see yourself in the future doing?
Yeah, I think when the time is right, and I think that when the right opportunity presents itself, maybe a purist mindset, but I think it's very, very, very narrow-minded to only think that you can be good at and try to do stand-up solely. I think that you have to be writing, you have to be acting, you have to be doing all these things just to honestly get the eyes on for stand-up. Like a lot of people didn't even know who some of their favorite comedians were until they saw them in a TV show, and then they saw that they do stand-up. So then they went to go see them, and then it turned out they were hilarious. That is a huge avenue for gaining new followings and new fans, broadening the amount of people that can see your perspective, and so I would never count it out, and it's something that I look forward to getting into in the future.
Josh, man, you're young, you're funny, you're hanging out with Trevor Noah. How are the ladies treating you, bro?
I mean, I have a girlfriend, so she treats me well.
Great answer.
You see that? For all you ladies out there, Josh is a one-woman man.
No, we always joke about that because we like hearing other people's like perspectives, like on dating.
Yeah.
So it's always funny because I feel like all we do is give the wrong pieces of advice every time that we. Oh, okay, sorry, maybe that's just me. So yeah, no, that's interesting because as a comedian, like, tell me about your experiences, like pre-fame and post-fame, and like people's perception of you now when they meet you, rather than your interactions with them before.
I mean, it's a very mixed bag because you also have to accept that when you're around actual famous people, you are not famous. Like I'm not delusional enough to stand next to any of the people I go up with at the cellar or people I've opened for and be like, man, we're in a real tough position, aren't we? That's not how I view the world. I think there's definitely been more people have approached me, and I've been very lucky that more people have approached me with gratitude that I've put my work out and I have more to put out and everything, and I'm happy that they enjoy it. I'm still at a place where like everyone that's seen me before, I'm a bit surprised. I don't know, like it doesn't feel, if that makes sense. It's like,
no, it does.
Your YouTube video on this like YouTube channel where you did stand up a few times can have like millions of views, but you don't feel those views. So it's like if someone recognizes you, you're like, oh, okay, I'm glad you liked it. Just I've never been in that headspace, and I think that honestly, the thing that has been the most devastating about being in quarantine and stuff is that it's limited some of my output. Like I have to find ways to put things out, and I think that like if you pay attention, most people vibe with other people. Everyone doesn't vibe with everybody. Facebook, for example, it's like if you say something as controversial or weird or whatever as it may be, even with a very few amount of Facebook friends, someone ends up liking it. It's it's insane. It's like I've literally seen people post crazy things and someone will be like, yeah, I like that thing. I also feel that way. So yeah, when you get the opportunity and the platform to speak to people from a broad audience, then yeah, you're going to get some people just by simple math. You're going to get some people who end up liking you. I think it takes, and one of the things I've been trying to work on is to broaden the message and the perspective to the point where it grabs people who weren't necessarily into me to begin with,
As you spoke about opportunity and platform, the Black Lives Matter movement has been in full effect over this past month and even longer, and things are coming to light. I wanted to ask you how you think things are going to change due to everything that's going on, and now that we have the spotlight and we're demanding answers. I wanted you to tell us how you think things are going to progress moving forward.
It's definitely a hopeful time, and I think that the one thing I would say to people is to please don't be discouraged, because
Mm.
as much as, you know, James Baldwin had an interview where he was talking about how people say that it takes time for progress and everything, and he was like, how much time do you need? It, my dad's life, it took my mom's life, it took my sister's life, it took, you know, so for your little bit of progress that you're saying it takes time, you need to understand that people's whole lifetimes for you to change like 2-3 little things, you know. And I think that what we're seeing now is some of that rapid change and that rapid movement, and a global movement taking place where there's people want to list their reasons, but there's a sense of solidarity. I have two main thoughts on it. One is that, you know, forgive my language, I know I'm not going to say this right, it's the only way I can think of to say it. No matter what country you're from, no matter what culture you're in, everybody in the world, dude, everybody has some type of nig in their community, in their there's a thing. America, when you look at what America is, America has never existed without the idea of like and I understand that the language is foul, but America has never existed without the idea of a nigger, of a bottom. You know what I mean? And so we're asking a structure and a system to completely change how it's always seen itself, because there's always been a bottom. It's not about some sort of oppression Olympics to see who has it the worst at what point or anything. But we've seen, it's like, dude, it used to, like, white didn't even used to be a thing. Yeah, I mean, like, Irish moved here and they were basically black. Italian moved here and they were basically black, because the way that our particular type of capitalism has worked, we've needed bottom. We've needed thousands upon thousands of Amazon employees to make one Jeff Bezos. And that's actually what people are asking for, outside of just the racial disparity of treatment by police and systems and like hiring processes and everything. If you deeply look at what's happening, if you're poor and white, I understand the concept of white privilege. I understand the concept of being treated differently and being more embraced by white people if you are white. But if you are poor and white in America, you are half black, at least. Like, you're not happy at the time. And you're actually more angry, because at least with black people, there's a sad part of it that feels like it makes sense. But with white people, they're like, no, I should not be living next to him. That's crazy. You know what I mean? And so that's the first prong of it, is that other countries that don't have America's policing problems, and they don't necessarily have, they have a different type of racism in their country, they still have that idea, though. They still have that bob. The other thing that's happening is we're living in an information age where things can get shared, and you have to look at the killing of George Floyd behind the whole umbrella of an economic crisis and a pandemic. I truly would like to be hopeful, and I love to give people the benefit of the doubt, but you would not see protests in mass if so many people didn't have jobs, if so many people didn't know what their future was going to be. That's another huge part of it. So it's not as if these people don't care and they wouldn't have been there otherwise for any other reason. It's just that all of this is able to happen right now, because what else do they have to do? They don't know what their future is going to be, and they don't have anywhere to go. And so those two things are huge factors, and it's a cause for hope, because as terrible as these things are, it's like you look at Emmett Till, you look at George Floyd, you look at these people who in the wake of their death, massive change occurs, and then we look back at it almost like a martyrdom, but then no one should have to die for these things to be changed, you know? I think that people have been lightly, as much as they can, but because they don't have the numbers, it's been light, applying the pressure for years, ever since Mike Brown, ever since Eric Garner, and now we're seeing that bit of pressure being applied is like weight on a piece of wood, and it's cracking, and soon it'll break and it'll crack through, but you just have to keep up the pressure. And I think that one of the things that's happening that I'm seeing is that there's already a state fatigue in there. Like, if you pay close attention, you'll see that as more and more looters and rioters got caught, and people who were never part of the protest to begin with, and they were just there to cause a disruption or to loot or to, like, you know, this massive protest is going to pass by, so I'm going to try to get something out of this store. As those people those numbers have dwindled, so is the coverage. You know what I mean? Because there were certain places, there were certain outlets that wanted to cover the protests as looting and rioting. And once there was no proof of that, they weren't interested in covering it anymore. But we have to, like, you have the coverage in your phone now. It's in your pocket. You have to be recording, at least from a bird's eye view. You know, you don't want to, you obviously, don't want to just put a camera in people's faces, but you want to keep the message alive that the movement is happening. It's not going to happen from just CNN or whatever. We can't depend on that because they get bored. They move on to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And they make people think that it's changed, and it hasn't, you know? So I would encourage people to keep going to protests and to keep sharing their experiences from protests so people know that protests are still happening. They know that there's still like a widespread movement going on. If those two make sense, I tried to condense it as much as possible, but those are the two-pronged problems that I've been seeing that I think actually make me hopeful for change, because everyone in every country can identify with the feeling of what happened with George Floyd and the backdrop of the desperation that both our systems have put us in, and just the way that we have chosen to treat each other has put us in. It's like, you know, we're getting to this breaking point where we can't just, is essentially like when two people are best friends and then they fuck. It's like, no, it's not the same anymore. It's never going to be the same. There's no going back. We can't go back to before that happened. It's like we remember, we felt it. There's no way we can be the same again, you know? And so we just have to pay attention and make sure that change stays for systemic good, you know, the good of everyone.
I've been pulled over by the cops over 100 times in life. I've had the cops put a gun to my head. I've had to sue the police. I've had plenty of run-ins. Do you have any personal experiences with the police, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I've had my experiences and stuff. I think the short of it is just, I mean, I've seen the treatment firsthand. Like I was with friends one time. Like I said, I went to this Catholic school when I was high school, and 3 of them were white. I was black, and there was a place where we thought, this is so dumb. We thought it was abandoned, and we heard that there were ghosts there, and so we went. And
there are ghosts.
No, there were no ghosts. It was all full-on homeless people. It was full-on crackheads living there that then ran us out. As we ran out, we got back to the car, we drove off, and then I guess some cops had like nothing better to do, so they saw us like trespassing at the place, and then they pulled us over, right? They pull us over, they separate us, and, you know, they let us go mainly because one kid's dad, it was a judge, and so they were like, oh, there's no point in jamming these kids up anyway. You know what I mean? When we're getting in the car and we're driving off, we were all comparing stories, and they were like, yeah, they asked me, you know, what we were doing there, and like one was like, yeah, and then they asked me if my parents knew I was out here, and I tried to like lightly like slip my dad was a judge and like blah blah blah, and then I was like, oh, they just told me I was going to jail the whole time. And they were like, really? I was like, yeah, that's all he said to me. He just kept saying, you're going to jail, and I was like, oh, all right.
I guess we got to thank you for taking your time out for being with us, man. You definitely killed this episode, and we definitely enjoyed it. Very much so informative. Thank you so much for taking your time out to be with us.
Thank you again, because you've just been way more awesome.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Josh. We were a little scared because you're big time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're big time. We was like, we got to be on point. Thank you for being relatable, my guy.
Yeah.
Man.
Anything,
that's what I'm talking about.
You know, for really bringing me down to earth.
No, honestly,
I was telling them, it's like we brought out the fine chinaware and somebody broke it. Come on,
man. Wow, it's all good though.
Yeah. Before you go, do you know anything that's happening upcoming? Do you want us to tell the people?
If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm Josh Johnson Comedy. On Twitter, I'm at Josh Johnson, and on YouTube, I'm Josh Johnson Comedy. And then you can also go to joshjohnsоncomedy.com for like tour dates, updates, anything like that. My Comedy Central special is going to be taping September 5th in Chicago. Just like keep your eyes out for that. I think tickets are going to be pretty tight because we have to socially distance the crowd, so we can't operate at even like half capacity, I don't think. So on the one hand, it'll be safe, but on the other hand, there's not that many tickets to go around. So
we can't ask you for
we can't go.
Yeah, it's all good.
When you're in New York, I'm coming to the show.
I appreciate
when you're
it.
in New York.
Well, I'm always in New York. I'm making noise whenever I have more shows.
Just say the word to us whenever it's happening. We'll definitely spread the word out, and we'll come through. You support us, we got to support you.
I appreciate 100%.
100%.
Best of luck with the podcast as well.
You're the official trendsetter.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. Have a good one, Josh.
All right, you too.
Take care, man.
Josh that was hilarious. That guy is too funny. That was amazing.
Yeah, he was really incredible and down to earth, really relatable.
Yes, funny as hell, man. I couldn't stop laughing.
No, we heard.
And we saw the sweat.
Yeah, no, the howling that was going on, like you knew that Q enjoyed him. Like that was the blue check. That was the verification.
I wasn't
That's it.
howling.
Sure, you weren't howling. But seriously, we all got to show some support for him.
Yeah.
Go out there and follow all his Twitter things and go see one of his shows. You catch him on YouTube. He was definitely hilarious. You're going to be nonstop laughing. Great guy, great dude.
Yeah, honestly. We'd like to thank everybody for joining us. Check us out. We'll be back next Thursday. You can hit us on Instagram at Bruh It's a Podcast.
Ladies,
feel free to send us a question, anchor.fm/BIAP. Don't hesitate to write a review, send us a rating.
Go out there and follow Josh. Y'all know the deal. We wait to hear from you. We're doing a lot more talking. This was a long episode. Give the people what they want. Hit them with the outro.
Bruh, 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 bruh. It's a podcast.